ba.
Welcome to another edition of Up in the Mix, coming to you hot from various locations. This is Sean, aka The Truth, aka The Super Nicest, aka The Narma Star, aka Not the Black Dude You Thought I Was.
This is Caesar, aka De La Foto, your favorite neighborhood Mexican Ernesto, Captain Culo Coach, Mr. Bruns, your local also, that papi with the dad body, the brown man in the yacht club,
How the fuck did he get here?
El Hombre de la Gente, the habitual line crosser, the honey badger, the fucking baby whisperer, and tracksuit papi.
Welcome, Caesar. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit, we had that 100 episode, which we had a bunch of guests on and slowly leaking it out like a new rap album,
Yeah, and just doing a normal episode, it feels like it's been a while because that was so crazy with all the different guests, and I mean, we recorded all day. How have you been since then?
I've been good, busy, working overtime. I worked like an extra 25 hours last week. At work, they don't offer bonuses, so you take overtime whenever you can to get that extra little feria. So yeah, I was working from like 6 in the morning to 8 at night.
Damn.
5 days straight, hour lunch, just your little 15 minutes, and that's it. But it's not too bad from the house in my pajamas and a V-neck,
Right.
But it's a lot of computer screen time, so my eyes were like bugging at the end of the night.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, then I would just like try not to watch the TV with the baby and just like read a little bit of a book. So it helped me pass out.
Go stare at nature. Let your eyes relax.
Well, it's hard when it's 8 o'clock and it's already dark outside.
True.
So I can't really stare at nature, but it was cool. The lady like made dinner instead of me all the time this week. Because since I'm at home, usually 5 o'clock I'm off and I start dinner. And then, by the time her and the baby get here at 6:30, dinner's ready. We eat as a family and things like that. But she did good making dinner. And other than that, today we went to that Holland Neon Babylon event to raise voting awareness and get people to vote and register. We went a little early so we didn't have to be with all the people since I had the baby today. Give mom a rest since she, took a lot of heavy lifting last week.
Right, if you work all the time.
Yeah, and then so like we went to Magpie for a quick coffee, get her some chocolate milk, and my brother and my nephew came. Then we went to Holland and then had some lunch. Now I'm here.
Nice little Saturday.
And it's not over. We got a little BBQ because Bacon is going to go work somewhere far away. So
nice.
Yeah. How was your week or a couple weeks?
It was good. We had fall break, which we took a break. We didn't do the radio show. I didn't have any extracurriculars, so it was nice. Even the lady was out of town for a few days, and I just I watched some basketball and chilled and like vegged out for a few days, and came back to work this week. Everything's back and motivated, ready to go.
Yeah, where'd the lady go?
She just went to Vegas to visit her parents.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because I went to San Francisco for the day with the boys to kind of get out of town a little bit before my hectic work week. So that was cool. Just ran amok in the city for a while.
I saw many stories on the internet. It told the tale of the trip.
It was a good one. Salute to my brother, Yams, and JT. And then, and now I'm going to Portland next week, actually, too. Try to expand the brand.
Yeah, that's business related a little bit, though.
Yes. I'm going to shoot pictures of my friend Olivia out there. My friend Kevin just got engaged, so that's a couple. And my friend, he has like a 3-year-old kid, and that's how long I haven't been to Portland. I haven't seen the kid. So shoot family portraits of them. And hopefully, get a little bit more business up there, and it'll help traveling, because tickets to Portland, $150 round trip right now.
Nice.
It ain't nothing.
Well, this is our 101st episode, and we have a returning guest this week. She previously appeared on season 2, episode 42, More Art Everywhere. But now we've got her on. She's running for Washoe County Commissioner. Welcome to the show, Alexis Hill.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's thrilling to be 101.
Like the Dalmatians.
Yeah.
I never thought
Cruella.
I thought we would have conversations like this when we started.
Nah,
That's awesome.
I thought it'd be like 5 because we only like know 5 people, but we actually know more than that.
Yeah, you're
A
kind of
lot
a big
more.
deal.
Yeah, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about earlier, cash rolls, baby.
So before we dive into anything too serious, this
Oh,
was
okay.
a recent controversy that was brought to my attention. And
Mm.
last Sunday, having breakfast, and I made some pancakes and eggs. I cut my pancakes before I start eating fully. I fully cut, like, I put butter on them, cut them, and then put syrup. And my girlfriend noticed that and thought it was funny, and I was like, has to be a question. So, how do you guys eat your pancakes? Do you cut them as you go, or do you pre-cut?
I cut as I go.
Me too.
And I get crazy with syrup. So I rarely have pancakes because I can't control myself.
I do a layered technique as well. Like I get a little crazy too. You got to
Yeah.
poke the holes with the fork first, you know? You got to perforate it. Then you get the syrup in there, let it soak in, spread it nice and easy. Slap the next one on there, perforate that one too. More syrup, depends how big the stack, you repeat, and then you put your toppings on top and cut as you go.
So yeah, I like to have a combination. I put the butter on, then I put a little bit of syrup on each layer, and then cut the whole thing, and then see if there's any unsyrupy areas, and
Take care of it.
I think I was like, if you pre-cut them, then they're more jumbled up, so like the syrup gets mixed in more with all the little bits and pieces.
That's why you got to have the syrup on deck all the time.
Why are you talking? I am getting hungry. About this.
My bad.
Evil.
And can you eat breakfast any time of the day, or is it only in the morning?
It's called Brenner, and so the answer to your question is yes.
Yes, because I could
At
have
all times.
all times. I could have an omelet any time of the day, some pancakes as well.
I had a cronut for lunch.
A cronut? Mm.
Where'd you get that?
The Young Dems, the UNR Young Dems were having a stroll to the polls for all of their club. And so I joined in like an interloper to hang out with young people and hung out with them. And then the Biden campaign brought over some cronuts.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the word interloper. Well used there.
Yeah. I was definitely not one of the cool ones, but I was trying to be.
Not if you use the words like interloper.
Yeah. Just infiltrating the young crowd, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to sometimes, you know, because they like to keep to themselves when we want to bring them into the loop.
Yeah, you have to sometimes break into their group.
Mm-hmm.
So you voted. Where'd you vote at?
At Lawler.
I heard there was no wait there. I had a friend that voted there
awesome.
and texted me and said, in and out in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Good.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And a little emotional, I will say.
Emotional?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
I've been doing this, running a campaign for a year. So it felt like I'm almost done.
Mm.
Yeah, the end is in sight.
See the finish line.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into why you're running, give our listeners and viewers a little background about yourself. You're from here, correct?
Yes. We actually went to school together, Sean.
Spoiler alert.
So freezing up on me.
We're townies, and I grew up in Sparks, and I
Frozen.
I think Caesar's frozen.
Are we having technical difficulties, Caesar?
Yeah.
Caesar. Dun dun dun. I'm gonna mark the time to edit this.
Oh, there he is.
I'm back. Mm.
Okay.
Got a little frozen for some reason.
Oh no.
Okay. You good?
Yeah.
Is the recording good, Caesar?
Well, it didn't record you guys because it froze. So, what were you saying?
Well, we'll go. Well, so we'll start over. Okay, we'll start over. All right, Alexis, you're from here, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little about yourself.
Okay. Well, I don't know about you, Sean, since we both grew up in Sparks, but I walked to school for all of my schools, elementary, middle school, and high school. And during parts of my walk, I didn't have sidewalks. And when I was a kid, I was like, this is messed up. Kids deserve sidewalks. And that really kind of motivated me to be in public service because I knew the government had an obligation to give us those services and ensure our safety. And so I went away for college and I came back to Sparks. I worked as a planner at the city of Sparks. And as I started my master's degree at UNR in public administration and public policy, and because I wanted to make a bigger effect and change in local government. And I knew the only way to do that was, advancing my education. And so I then left the city of Sparks right as the recession was coming and went to the Lake Tahoe Shakespeare Festival, worked there for a few years. And then I ran a nonprofit called Kids and Horses, a therapeutic riding center for special needs children. And then as I was finishing up my master's degree, I came back to Reno to run the arts, culture, and events department. So I worked at the city of Reno for 8.5 years. And sadly, happily, I resigned to run my campaign full time. And so all the time that I was at the city of Sparks, and then when I lived in Tahoe, and when I lived in Reno running arts, culture, and events, I just was watching as our government officials were just making these short-term political decisions and not looking out for the long-term sustainability of our community. So that's why I'm running for office.
Go all the way back to walking into no sidewalks.
How old were you when it dawned on you the government needs to give me sidewalks?
Middle school.
Okay.
A little Leslie Nope-ish with that.
Just little glasses, be like, hey, my government needs to give me sidewalks.
Like, what is going on here? No sidewalks? I mean, I thought it was whack too, but
but to have
I wasn't like, who's responsible
I wasn't thinking
for
about
this?
that.
I need to do something about.
I wasn't thinking about that in middle school. I just want to ride my bike and do other hood rat shit.
Yeah, very far from my mind.
Yeah, that's why girls mature faster than boys.
I'm a nerd. We know.
We all are. Don't worry about it.
You're built for this, is what you're saying. Well, so you're running for county commissioner. What is that, and what does that job entail? I know a lot of people don't even know exactly what that job is.
Position is, yeah.
Right. I think people will know what their city council member does because the city council processes business licenses, so small businesses know about them, or zoning, they do a lot of that, new development in the city limits. But what the county commission does is pretty incredible for overseeing our quality of life in this community. And that's one of the exciting parts about potentially being elected to this position is that you look over health and human services first off. That's like the #1 initiative, and they were responsible for our COVID response. And I think that we've seen that the communication was lacking during that time. There wasn't advocacy for small businesses, and there was an opportunity to perhaps do a mask mandate, and they didn't do it. So we were we were closed longer. And, they weren't quite prepared for this. And so, looking at the future, I think that that's something to be looked at, how we responded to this, what we can learn, and how we can empower our community to grow economically again, and also ensure safety of our citizens. So that, as well as homeless services, they oversee major regional things like TUMWA, regional planning, RTC, they have seats on these boards, RSCVA, the Visitors Bureau. So they also oversee land use, long-term planning, conservation and sustainability should be a mission because North Washoe has a dark sky designation, which most people don't know, but we're one of the few counties, Massacre Rim has a dark sky designation, and that should be protected. It could be a tourism opportunity even for us, and to ensure that it doesn't get developed and that we're sustainably growing, but still growing. I think it's so important that we continue to grow as a community and new people come here and bring new ideas. But those are just some of the motivating things. They oversee the jail budget. They oversee the sheriff's office budget. So they really, have a lot of impact on our day-to-day. They appoint the person who does our voting systems, the registrar. They oversee our tax system. And they oversee a lot of the administration that happens in the county. So if you buy a house, they will keep your deed of sale. So, and they help with tax, property tax, and calculating that. So it's just a lot of the big things that affect our quality of life the county has oversight over.
Damn. Well,
That's a lot of. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for answering that question, because that question was for me. Spoiler alert. Although other people asked, I didn't know myself.
No, but that's awesome, because RTC always needs a lot of work. Like if the bus the bus doesn't even come out where my mom is at.
Unacceptable.
And, and like it'd be nice to like try it, like in big cities. That's like a big thing, like getting people to where they need to go, and it saves on so many things.
Yeah, like my old roommate worked for Tumwa, and then two of my old roommates have worked for RTC. So I've had glimpses of what goes on with those institutions and some of the things that can be improved upon. So that's cool. I think it's more than a city council person deals with. Not that there's like a competition, but there's definitely. Yeah, there's definitely room to make an impact.
Yes, absolutely. It's very exciting, because I think we are at a tipping point as a community on where we're going to go next, and are we going to be affordable, and will we be able to be a sustainable community to live in, and will we ensure that we protect our most vulnerable citizens? We're all kind of, looking at that, and how do we want to grow? So it's very exciting.
It's cool also because you're from here, so you've seen, like we have, I moved here in 1992, and the last 28 years just watching how the city has grown and how the region's grown. So to see that, obviously it gives you perspective, and you're a product of that growth. So, hopefully you can, bring some fresh eyes to a problem that maybe people haven't faced here in this region before.
I hope so. And I think one of the biggest things that I want to bring as a commissioner is ensuring our community feels included in decision making, and ensuring that new voices are brought to these boards, these regional boards, to ensure that we're being as open to the entire community's feedback as possible, and also ensure that working families, working people can give their input to government and don't have to go to a meeting that in the evening they're going to be feeding their family. They can't do that. Or in the middle of the day, they're going to be at work. Going to where the people are, I think, is the exciting part about how we can ensure that people regain trust back in government, because I think that's a major issue.
Definitely, because I feel, because the average Joe, like you were saying, 9 to 5 family, they can't go to any of these meetings just because they have priorities. But I know a lot of people want to, but they just can't. They can't just take half a day at work, or like they have kids after work, so they can't. Yep. They can't take.
Yeah, like city council meetings being at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays or whatever day they're on. That
I think it's 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
on Wednesdays, and
on Wednesdays,
and the commission is 10 a.m. on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and I was like, this is just my idea right here. I'm giving to you this one for free.
Ooh.
So on like maybe some months to have like the important meetings, they do happen on a Saturday. So then the city council people, they could pick that Tuesday off, take the Tuesday off, but then they have to come in on Saturday and do all the meetings that day, so everyone can be included. And you guys are still working your 5 days, but it's just 1 week it gets switched.
Yeah, I love that. I think that there needs to be a willingness to look at these schedules. And it's one of many initiatives I want to bring if I'm elected as a new commissioner, because I think accessibility to government is huge. And
Definitely.
right now, I think that a lot of citizens feel cut out of decision making at the county. And I don't think that's appropriate. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity to ensure that we include folks. It's not hard.
Yeah. I think one of the problems in this country in general is that people feel disconnected from government in general because they're not involved at the local level, and it's easy to remove some of these barriers.
Totally. And I would say, it's complex to get involved locally because each jurisdiction has different authority, and it can be frustrating. So I understand that too. And I think that there's a lot of ownership that government needs to take to help people, guide people. And that's what I've done when I worked at the city of Sparks as a planner, and when I worked at the city of Reno, I guided people through processes. I didn't say, here's an application, peace out, good luck. That's not how government should operate. Things should be in multiple languages, and we need to have folks who help, people through the process so they can succeed instead of punishing them because they don't understand the process.
You mean a government of the people for the people? Such a novel idea. It's like,
who would have thought?
Yeah, that's crazy to think that government should actually work for people and make their lives easier.
Yeah, I think it's written somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a crazy idea. I'm sure no one thought of it hundreds of years ago. Well, you said you've been running your campaign. How's that been? Has there been some? I know early on there was some. Your opponent made some unseemly comments, personal attacks on you. Like how's that been running against someone who
wants to do it dirty?
Had your name in their mouth.
Yeah.
I think you just have to get over it. It was harder at the start for me. But if you want to help your community and you want to do it through public service, sadly, the way that you can affect a lot of change is running for office, and you have to just kind of get over some of the uncomfortable parts of that, which, running against someone is uncomfortable, but you have to, I just kind of got over it, and I love focusing on the community that's been supporting me and all the volunteers, just incredible amounts of people who have joined the campaign from last year, or I just got an email from someone who wants to help start volunteering now. And so it's we have over 80 volunteers helping with the campaign, and small dollar donors that are really engaged in what I'm trying to stand for and what, the change that they want to see in their community. And so that has been, I'm just really trying to focus on that.
That's good. Yeah, I think it's something to go from a private citizen into the public eye. I think Caesar and I have kind of done that, just doing this and realizing people can look you up on Google and
so fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's obviously a bigger step for you. Do you have any reservations, or did you think about that?
Yeah, it feels very personal, but another thing you just get over. And I think that's an Obama quote of someone complaining to President Obama. A gentleman was running for elected office and saying he didn't like to do certain things, which is fundraising, or, it's hard to it's all about you in some ways. And so that can be uncomfortable. But Obama's get over it. But it is, you just, if this is what you want to pursue, you just have to get over it. And I think, trying to make it about the community, the whole time is the key. And I'm not saying that I'll be great at that, or that I won't have work to do, and to ensure that, that my heart is always there. But I believe, everything I've done in my career is just like to help my community. I love this place so much. It's ridiculous.
That's good to have someone like that. I feel sometimes they do it just not because they love the game.
Yeah, their motives might not be. I mean, you see it. Let's be honest. If you look across the country, you see lots of people who are not in office to serve people. They're in office for the power it brings. So refreshing to hear that. How did you describe to us over time, like your evolution in politics? Like, how did you come to have the beliefs you have now? Like, obviously you were involved, if you were in 8th grade wondering about, the local government's responsibility to make sidewalks. How did that get in you?
Oh, I think, dinner conversations with my parents, who were engaged in the community. And, I think I was curious. Like, I remember, I don't know if you ever did this, Sean, but did you ever go to city council meetings, like, and sit up?
No.
Okay.
As a child? Or
Yeah.
as a teenager? No.
Okay. Well, me neither.
No, you're cooler than us. That's for
That's
sure.
all right. It's okay.
No, like you're smarter than us. Like the things I know now, I wish like young C's could understand. Be like, hey, you need to do this sooner. You need to like be more into like community and bringing people together instead of like later in life. But I'm a boy and I'm dumb. So
I think that I am, it's an evolving situation as well. And so who knows what my real perspective on government was when I was like that young, but I have like a passion for it. I was in We the People in high school, which was like constitutional debate, and that got me going. I loved it. And so I was into, learning about America. And I think, sadly, I learned a fair amount of myths about America too in the process. But but I also, I think there's so much to be proud of about America. I'm not saying it's perfect at all. I'm just saying there are things that also are exciting, and like the potential of what America could be too is really exciting. So I think it's just an amalgamation of just loving all of those things, and doing poli-sci in undergrad. What do you even do with that? But if you can read critically and if you can write, you'll be pretty successful in life, and you could do any job. So I think that's helpful. But just pursuing your passion. I spoke to the UNR Young Dems last night, which was so exciting, exhilarating, and gave me chills. Sean, I'm so jealous of you educating kids, because that just must be cool.
Sometimes.
But they have so much energy and hope for the future. And that's awesome. And like, they want to preserve Lake Tahoe. That was a big discussion. And they want to preserve, our open lands. And they have a vision on what should happen to this community. And so, listening to young people, I think, is helpful too. But yeah, it's, I don't know if I answered that question, but there you go.
Well,
that's why I love it.
I think the thing is like, you're a young person in politics.
But I'm not young.
You're not that young, but you're
in politics numbers. Yes.
Yeah, you're for a politician. You're very young. Like, if you look around the people, so it's good. It's crazy to say that that's how old we are. Like I was thinking,
we're old.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, man, I'm almost 40. I'm like getting there.
I know.
I'm the closest one here to 40.
No, you are. No, you are. But it's just like, was looking at myself in the mirror, with the baby, and I was like, young C's, didn't even expect this coming, I thought I'd just be forever young, like Rod Stewart.
Yeah, well, I think you are, isn't it? It's not how old you are, it's how old you feel.
How old you feel, yeah. And I don't feel like that old. Like sometimes I have to think about it and be like, hey, you're an old man, kind of, but like in my heart, I still ride my bike. I still do a lot of gooder at things sometimes, like, and yeah.
I feel the same way until one of my students like asks me like, "Hey, my dad likes Wu-Tang. You like Wu-Tang? He was telling me about them." And I'm like,
Uh, yeah, yeah. When music comes up and other kids in there, yeah, I feel that
like,
too
or when
sometimes.
I play a song that's like 10 years old and like, "Oh, like that's an old song. Why are you really?" I'm like, "This song's new to me. It feels new to me."
Now, I know it's crazy.
They also haven't been on the earth this long, like everything's
Yeah.
new, everything's old to them, especially like, it's just perspective a lot of times, I feel.
My brother ran into a friend of mine from high school I haven't seen in
Mm.
like 10 years who he had moved away and I didn't even know was living here now, and he was like talking to him and I'm like, yeah, like I was like, and he was like, oh yeah, like he's the one that started your guys' annual trip to Mammoth. I'm like, yeah, 20 years ago. Like that's so, I'm like, it literally was. I'm like, that's so crazy.
No,
I
it's
was a
crazy to
college
think.
freshman 20 years ago.
It's crazy to think on memories, because when I used to go to the interbike to the bike conventions and stuff, we used to just
Mm.
like go and like run wild and stuff. And I haven't been in probably like 8 or 10 years now. And sometimes like those memories pop up on the internet, and you're like, this does not feel that long ago, but it is.
Yeah. That'll age you.
Yeah, I had a Facebook memory from 15 years ago yesterday from my brother, and I was like, I showed my girlfriend like, look at my Facebook memory from 15 years ago when I started my like post college job for the first like. My brother was like, that's how we kept up and messaged me how my job was going, and then and like
yeah.
she was still in high school.
No, I posted a picture from 16 years ago on Facebook.
Mm.
Wild.
Yeah. Your picture could drive.
Yeah.
That's
How crazy is that?
It is crazy. It should not
Yeah.
drive. That picture should not drive.
Very inappropriate. Can't drive. No, nope, nope.
well, you've had a lot of time, obviously, then as an adult,
Mhm.
to come to these conclusions on why you're, why you feel the way you do about government. What are some of the things you want to accomplish once you get, if you get, let's say, if you get into office?
Right. We want to knock on some wood. I would like to work on just some basic quality of life stuff and then some long-term planning. And so basic quality of life stuff, the county really needs to obviously continue to deal with COVID. That is something that's just not going to change overnight. And so that the health district needs to be prioritized and figuring out how we can support the health district. And there's all these new tests that are coming out that are really cheap that you can actually even do yourself. I don't know if y'all have been hearing about these, but soon the FDA will approve those, and that's going to be a game changer for just how we can open. So, and teachers, how teachers can be safe and how students can be safe. And, it will be helpful until, we figure this thing out. So, ensuring that we're staying on the science and like looking to the future on how the county can work on this, and as well as just helping our most vulnerable population. I think that we have been doing the same thing with dealing with the folks that don't have homes in our downtown, and we are expecting different results, and we need to actually do more than just provide shelters and move them from location to location and come together as a region to work on this, because there are other communities who have dealt with and eliminated chronic and veterans homelessness. And it's not something you do overnight, and you continue to work on it, but ensuring that we're supporting mental health care and addiction services, which there's just not a lot of support for those services. And even if you have the means, it's hard to find it. And certainly when you don't. And so I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done of bringing the region together to deal with homelessness and to support these folks and help them get into housing and maybe even economic freedom. And so I think that that would be a major initiative and something that I think we can accomplish. And I think that talking to folks, when I'm making my campaign calls or texting, it's on top of mind for everyone. And so I think that then also works hand in hand with affordable housing. And how do we ensure that people can buy homes in our community? Working people can afford to buy homes, and the county can help with rental assistance as well as down payment assistance and really bolster those services. And I think that that should be something that is also looked at for the future, and ensuring that we help even fund the Affordable Trust Fund, which would support development that is focused on affordable housing for both working families and then also the actual federal definition of affordable housing. So I think there's a lot of work to be done with that, and I think the county can be a leader with that as well. And then I would like to work on conservation and sustainability. Like I was saying before, we live in such a beautiful region, and the only way to protect it is to do some long-term planning. And so the county has just been sitting on the Washoe County lands bill, which would protect these wildlife refuges and wilderness areas and open spaces that we cherish, and also prioritize development in places that are already disturbed so we can continue to grow, but in a sustainable way. That also goes into incentivizing bus development, like you were talking about, Caesar, and also working on ensuring that the county look at electrifying all their fleet and cutting down on their way that they create emissions in the region, and seeing how we can partner with the state on that and the federal government. And then the third thing is the government accountability, which I alluded to before, but it's really ensuring that the county diversify who they hire in county positions. And this goes to the sheriff's office, this goes to administration, this goes to line staff, and also ensure that we have boards that represent the whole community as well. Because there's a lot of these regional boards who have a lot of say in the future of the community, and we just want to make sure that they represent our whole community. And then, like I was saying, ensuring that outreach on new projects is done in a more creative way so people feel part of process. Like what we did at the Arts and Culture Commission is like involving the community in our projects so they never felt threatened and they felt like it was their piece of artwork. Well, we can do that on a larger scale with a lot of county projects. So also just ensuring that you can contact the county and get an answer quickly, and also government dashboards to ensure that any services we provide, we can show you, the citizens, what you're getting out of it. So just accountability across the board. I think that there's a lot of opportunities to improve that.
Well, not much.
It's a 4-year term.
Yeah.
You got plenty of time to put your mark on things.
Yeah, exactly. It's just because that's the thing, you have to talk to people, because when you're running, there's a bunch of points you want to say all the time, but you have to have certain realistic goals in mind that you need to that'll probably follow through.
Yeah, but I think you also need to dream big, and I think that I think we need to start acting like we're the community we are, and dream big and do more for our community.
I mean, we talk about that all the time.
All the time, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We got to start looking forward, instead of in the past, because it's not going to go back. People complain it's not going back to the small little town that it was, and we got to start looking forward and put people in position, like you, who are ready to do that.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So, how has it been running a campaign during the pandemic? And
oh yeah, it's been rough, just because I love being social, and if it was a traditional campaign, you would have meet and greets all the time at people's homes, which are all the things I'm describing are so not COVID compliant. meeting with random people in homes. And so that is missing, but I'm calling people. I am doing the outreach to people. So I'm trying to connect with voters every day. And I text voters too. And if voters get a text from me, it's not a bot. It's actual person. So keep that in mind before you cuss me out. That has been really cool. And then doing Zooms like this, it's what we have to do to connect and be safe. And so I've been able to do some forums and debates and, been able to connect with community groups in this way as well. So that's been cool. So I just try to we can't do it the traditional way. Well, that doesn't mean you can't talk to voters. There's a lot of ways.
Connect. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and social media. I am connecting with voters on social media, and I feel like I'm an addict now, so I can't wait until after the campaign. But who knows if it will stop? But just ensuring that I respond to people quickly and answer their questions, or make sure that they feel like they're being heard as well. So there's so many ways to do this, and for the foreseeable future, this is a little bit how we're going to have to act.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not too much further into the future. And the election, like you said, is almost over. It's two more weeks, the home stretch.
Yeah.
How was it leaving your job with the city of Reno that you were with for so long?
Oh, really hard. But then it felt like the right decision too. I love so many people I worked with, and they did a really nice goodbye for me, which just makes me feel emotional because they are people, people you work with, they become your family.
Yeah.
So, but I also am excited because it gives other people a chance to move up at the city, and it gives opportunities to change programs, and there's some good about people leaving and, things getting changed. And so I hope that I've left something cool for the community, and I feel proud of the projects that I see. Just even driving by Virginia Lake, seeing Dragonfly by Peter Hazel, that was the first public art project that I was involved in from start to finish, and I'm proud of that. And so that's cool, but it's been really exciting to devote full time to the campaign and really speak as Alexis instead of Alexis representing the city of Reno, it's just that's not doing the citizens justice. They need to hear from me, who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
How does it feel to drive around town and see projects that you've been involved in and helped make and create?
It feels so good, but it also feels good because it was done with everyone. So Virginia Lake, at first the neighborhood was really worried about having public art, and it was a very painful public process at first. And then once we developed trust with the community and let them really actively be involved in the choosing of the artists and the choosing of the art pieces, they actually even NAB members got to cast votes. One of the last meetings we did, and those were considered by the public art committee when making a decision. And so it really turning that around. And then Midtown, I just cannot wait until Hunter Brown's piece is installed. Do you have an update on that? When is that happening?
It got delayed because of some materials, I think. So I think maybe next month. But yeah, it was, if I remember correctly, because our meeting was a month ago. We have it on Monday, so I did. But yeah, I think there was some problem with the artist, with him getting his materials to do everything. Yeah,
that makes sense. But once that's up, it's going, oh my God, Midtown. Midtown's so cool, but this is going to be such an identifier, and that you'll be able to see it from downtown. You'll be able to see it from the Peppermill. It's a huge sculpture. Yeah. So it's going to really make a positive impact in that area. So I'm stoked about that.
Nice.
Yeah. Aren't you proud of the work you've done on the commission?
Yeah, I feel like I haven't been on there that long, so a lot of it was already in the works. So I think, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird, just to be a part of it. I feel like it's such a small part in getting it done. sometimes. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
No, I get it. I get it. It's
Because there's so many people and so many things involved.
right.
Sometimes it's over. I feel like for the first year, it was just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
I was like, how does anything get done? Like,
Because all we do is fight in the meetings.
Yeah.
well, no, yeah, right. No, just like the frustrate, like just there's so many things you have to do. It's crazy, but it has to be that way. Do you watch
Yeah.
Parks? Have you seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
So like, have you been involved because in meetings where things have gone off the rails, like a Parks and Rec meeting?
Yes. Public meetings. Public meetings are they're different but similar. And a lot of times folks are really frustrated, and it may not be frustrated about the issue at hand. And I think that's our job as government, is like to continue to work with people and not dismiss them if they don't understand how things work, or they don't understand that comment isn't germane to the issue, or whatever the case may be, that we're like actively helping people, because I think that's kind of some of the frustration that people can, have, is like, I don't even, then how do I make sure that this comment is matters to this issue? And so I think that's, reflective, but it's very funny, Parks and Rec. And there's a lot of funny moments, but those will stay locked up.
Yeah, there's no need to share. Like I've
Understandable.
witnessed some things at meetings, and I've been like wondering, like, is there a hidden camera here right now? Like, what's going on? So
Like a TV show?
For sure. I think I know what you're talking about. So yeah.
Do you have any favorite events or organizations or artists that you've worked with that stand out over your 8 years at the city?
Oh man, that's a great question. So I love the folks who do Garlic Fest, and they're now doing an online version of that, a year of garlic. And they do a food truck that sells fresh vegetables, and it goes all over town. It's called Reno Food Systems is the organization. So that's cool. That's like a really cool thing that those folks do. So I really admire the small like food movement that's happening in Reno. There's a farmers market at McKinley that I was really excited about, that Prima Farms started, and now it's huge. It's like,
I just found out about that one.
Yeah, I have a hard time waiting for the lettuce. So I just am like, okay, get a coffee, calm down, Alexis.
Yeah.
I'm like, this used to be so small. But it's great. It's like, it's really busy. And then there's a lot of cultural groups that are really up and coming and doing some cool stuff. So Latino Arte with Reno Little Theater, Mario's group. I really admire what they do. And I would say, I think like Nebkiss is going to do some cool stuff as well. I know you guys work with them also at the Holland Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of neat stuff, and the big events they were fun as well. Hot August Nights, there was something kind of magical about watching all the people down on Virginia Street looking at cars and reminiscing about being a kid. I don't know if you ever went and saw Hot August Nights as a kid, but and so that's like a really special event, and I hope it comes back bigger and better, next year. And so these big, events that bring in huge tourism, people and money to the community are really awesome. And artists, there are so many local artists. I'm worried about saying my favorite, but I will just say that I worked with really special people that I feel like Reno doesn't realize how lucky we are to have the talent we have, because we'd have people visiting us from Americans for the Arts and the NEA, and they would be blown away when we would go to the Generator or Art Tech, or do a mural tour. just of the talent we have locally, and what, the fact that we have these people living in our community and working as artists is very, very cool. But I think the music, the song With Love from Reno, Heartbeat to Heartbeat, Eye to Eye, that Sean, you participated in, is like one of the coolest projects that I was able to work on before I left, and that I felt really proud of how all that came together, and it was really special.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still amazed. I forgot about it, and then someone shared it or something the other day, and I was like, I don't even, like, it was so fast. Like, Eric like hit me up and was like, yeah, like, I'm trying to do this, and like, when someone reaches out to you, you have no idea the scope or anything. He's just, when I first got involved, it was like, my involvement was so small. Like, I didn't know anyone else that was working on it. I didn't know what the rest of the song was going to be. It was like, here's your like 30 little seconds. And to see like how big it's gotten and all the people involved was really humbling afterwards. When and then like we made the music video, which I didn't know about. I said yes. It was so much bigger than I could have possibly imagined, and that if I had known, I might have hesitated to say yes.
Yeah, well, you rocked it.
Yeah, it was great.
Which just goes to show you, people, just say yes to stuff and fake your way through it until you know what you're doing.
Just come with
how do
confidence.
you know that someone else actually has more experience or could do it better than you?
Exactly.
You gotta do it. Attack it. Attack the day.
More I'm realizing that.
Yeah. Be confident in your own stroke and follow your heart. That's what we say all the time, Like,
yeah. Well, Alexis, that's the formal interview part.
Yes.
That was all the formal questions we had. I know, tough hitting questions.
Yes.
We're not investigative journalists, and it's not like you've got.
It's not like Dateline or hard copy.
Or you've got like taxes, hidden away at like some people. So
you're gonna bring like a child on and be like, "This is your child, Maury."
Well, I feel like with you, you'd probably know if you'd had it.
Probably.
Hopefully. But we're going to take a short break here, and Caesar's going to share his song of the week, which I love the song. We played it on the radio show when it first came out last month. Tell them what it is.
So Black Thought just dropped an album, along with a lot of other people. I've been dropping good music lately, and this one is Good Morning by Black Thought, featuring Pusha T, Swizz Beatz, aka Swizzy, and then Killer Mike, who hopefully runs for president.
So tune and listen and enjoy.
Enjoy.